Hey y'all, I wanted to make a video today because this is something that's really important to me and I'm very passionate about. So I decided to create a video because I was just gonna do like an Instagram story, but that was taking too long and I couldn't get it right. So I was like, I'm just gonna make a video and put it up. If it's good or not, we'll see. This is my third time recording this, so hopefully I get it right this time. Anyway, I'm wearing an orange shirt today. I did not put this shirt on by coincidence. I did not just throw it on. I actually laid this shirt out last night with the intent to wear it today. Today is the day that we are supposed to be remembering all the victims of residential schools. For those of you who don't know what a residential school is, it's basically, it was a school created by the Canadian government to try and civilize Indigenous children. Now, what I mean by civilize, I actually mean beat the native out of them. I heard that in a class, so please don't give me shit for that, please. I heard that in my university class, and that was like the best way I've ever heard it described to me, and a professor told me that these children were ripped away from their families and their homes, and sometimes sent like thousands of kilometers away from their families and thousands of kilometers away from where they lived to go to these schools to be basically turned into little white children. That's really like the simplest way I can say it. These children, they weren't allowed to speak in their native language. They weren't allowed to do any type of Native American traditions or ceremonies, nothing like that. If they were caught doing stuff like that or talking in their native language, they were severely punished and beaten. Thousands of children actually died in these schools under government care, and some of the families didn't even find out until their children just didn't come back, and they asked the government and they're like, oh, I don't know what happened. Another thing about these schools is the reason why I'm so passionate about it is because so many people are like, oh, that happened so long ago, like back in the 1800s. Sis, no! The last residential school didn't close until 1996. That was 3 years after I was born. These schools operated for 3 years while I was alive. Like, that just absolutely makes me sick and blows my mind. Like, it's just sickening. It's absolutely sickening that they continued into the 1990s and, the 1900s in general to take children away from their parents and beat them, basically. There's a lot of stories out there that you can look up, and I've heard several stories about residential schools, and they were not good places. A lot of young boys were sexually assaulted and made to do sexual acts, and they were called very, very horrible names and just treated horribly. And the reason this is so important to me is because, like, we still don't treat Indigenous people properly. There's so many tribes and so many bands that still live on, the residential lands. They have their own land, but like that land doesn't have clean water. It doesn't have electricity. It doesn't even have like proper housing on it. Like, the government basically just said, yeah, here's some land, do what you want with it. Bye, we're gonna ditch out. Peace. Like, no! No. Okay? So that's why I want to talk about it, is because, we did this horrible thing. Our government did this horrible thing to these people, to these children. We lost so much culture, so much history from Indigenous people through these residential schools. Like, so much language was lost. Like, so many tribe names were lost. I can't even imagine the amount of history that was lost because of these schools. Because in Native American culture, it's very much like they teach their history through speaking and talking, like, and passing down through stories. So the elders would usually teach the children and tell them stories about their history. And so when these kids had to go into residential schools, they didn't get that anymore. And all this history and all these stories, they died with those people, with the elders. that's why I think it's just so awful, because it's like, how much of history are we missing right now because of this? So basically the point of this video is become more involved in Indigenous rights. We need to realize that we don't treat them well. How many murdered and missing Indigenous women are there in Canada right now? Thousands, hundreds, thousands. I don't even know. There are so many and nobody is even looking for them. Are you kidding me right now? Like, if I went missing, I'd hope you guys would look for me. But if I was Indigenous, would you? Like, my family probably would want to find me, but would the rest of Canada? I don't know. Looking at statistics, no, y'all wouldn't, okay? So that's what I want to say. That's what I want. I really want you guys to make yourself more aware of Indigenous rights and what they're fighting for. There is a band, I believe, in Ontario right now who have not had clean drinking water for 4 years. 4 freaking years. Justin Trudeau has done absolutely nothing. You know, I voted for this guy and he said he was going to do something about that and he never did. And now I'm just like, hey, we need someone to do something about this. We need to start fighting for our Indigenous brothers and sisters. They were here first. We have done so much wrong to them. And it's not even like all the wrong that we did to them. It's not even like those people are passed away and gone. They're still alive. They're still here. They're only in their friggin' 50s, you guys. Like, oh my God, like some of them are younger than my mom. Like, come on. It wasn't that long ago. And so that's why it's really important to me, is because like we don't treat them right, and we need to do more for our Indigenous community. There is a lot of mental health issues on the lands. There's a lot of the suicide rate on residential lands is really, really high. And especially in children, like that's just not right. That's just not right at all. The alcoholism and drug addiction rate is way higher on residential land as well. And, you know, it's really just because look what we did to them. So I am wearing this shirt to stand in solidarity with my Indigenous brothers and sisters, because I realized that they were here first and we did not treat them right. I mean, I won't even celebrate Thanksgiving this year because it's like, they literally, the Indigenous people invited us for dinner and we all ate and then slaughtered them. Like, thanks for inviting us to dinner. We're gonna kill you now. Like, woo! Like, no. Why are we celebrating a holiday like that? Why? Oh my God. Why, guys? Why? Okay, thank you for watching, and I really, 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 really hope that this inspires you to get more active in Indigenous rights and Indigenous activism, because they do need our help. Things are not going to change if we just ignore it, and I am a firm believer that we all need to help each other, and that those who do not know history are doomed to repeat it, and we will not repeat this. Who's with me? Have a good night, guys, and thank you for listening to me.